Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into Sri Lanka's really ambitious Vision 2030.
Yeah, it's quite something. They're aiming to boost their digital economy from, what, around 3.7 billion US dollars?
All the way up to 15 billion by 2030. I mean, that's a massive leap.
Huge. And a big part of that strategy involves cloud, but specifically with a focus on data sovereignty.
Okay, data sovereignty. Let's unpack that a bit. It sounds important, but what does it actually mean in practice? Is it just about where the data is stored?
Not exactly, though that's related. Think of it more like digital self-determination. It's a nation's right to control data within its borders, making sure its laws apply. It's about governance, not just geography.
Right, control.
Yep.
So with that goal in mind, Sri Lanka is putting regulations in place. We're hearing about the PDPA, central bank rules. How are these rules actually speeding up the move to local cloud providers? You'd sometimes think regulations slow things down.
That's the fascinating part here. They're kind of turning compliance into a driver. The Personal Data Protection Act, the PDPA from 2022, it aligns them with global standards, like GDPR.
Okay, so setting a high bar.
Exactly. It lays down strong principles for handling data, especially when it crosses borders, which is key for public bodies.
And the central bank, what are they adding to the mix?
Well, for the banks and financial institutions, the CBSL regulations are very specific. They basically mandate that IT systems, infrastructure, management, location, even third-party stuff have to be compliant and often located within Sri Lanka.
So no ambiguity there for the finance sector. Keep it local, keep it compliant.
Precisely. And this creates a powerful incentive for local cloud providers. They can say, look, use us, and you're automatically meeting these strict regulatory requirements. It's almost a plug-and-play compliance solution.
That's smart. It turns a potential headache for businesses into like a value proposition for the local providers.
Exactly. It makes choosing local cloud much more attractive strategically.
Okay, so the demand is there, driven by regulation. Who's actually building the infrastructure to meet it? What does the local cloud scene look like on the ground in Sri Lanka?
It's evolving pretty fast. You've got some key players stepping up. Oral IT is a big one. They set up the country's largest cloud infrastructure.
Okay.
And, importantly, the only sovereign private cloud built to NIST guidelines.
A sovereign private cloud.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then there's Dialog Enterprise. They're recognized as a VMware sovereign cloud provider, which is a significant certification.
Right.
And Oracle actually launched Sri Lanka's first sovereign public cloud. So you're seeing both private and public options emerging, locally managed and governed.
And are these facilities up to scratch compared to, say, international standards?
Oh, absolutely. We're talking Tier 3 data centers. Oral IT, Orion Stellar have them ensuring really high availability, like 99.975% uptime. Plus, they're getting global ISO certifications for security, privacy, ISO 27001, 27701. It shows a serious commitment.
Okay, the foundation seems solid. Tier 3 ISO certs. But beyond the physical location and compliance, how secure is the data really, against cyber threats or even disasters?
That's obviously critical. They employ pretty robust security measures. Standard stuff, but essential. Strong encryption, like AES 256 for data at rest, RSA for keys, protecting data in transit too. Advanced access controls are key. Identity and access management, IAM, making sure only the right people get access, and of course, proactive threat detection and prevention systems.
And what about backups, disaster recovery, if something goes wrong?
Yeah, disaster recovery, DR, and business continuity planning, BCP, are fundamental. They talk about things like RTO and RPO.
Okay, jargon alert, RTO, RPO.
All right, sorry. Recovery time objective, basically, how fast you need to get back online after an outage.
Yeah.
And recovery point objective, how much data you can afford to lose measured in time. So aiming for low RTO and near zero RPO.
Got it. Less downtime, less data loss.
Exactly. And they achieve this resilience through things like geographically separate backup locations, often using those Tier 3 certified facilities that we mentioned. It builds national digital resilience.
Okay, this is all adding up. So for someone listening, maybe running a business in Sri Lanka, or even just using digital services, what are the real tangible benefits of this big push to local cloud?
There are quite a few, actually. Economically, it's significant. Less reliance on, paying in US dollars for international cloud services. Lower fees for getting data out, what they call egress fees.
Right. The dollar dependency is a big deal for many economies.
Huge. And there's a concrete example. Lanka QR, the national payment system. Hosting locally apparently saved them over 1.5 billion rupees in transaction costs. Plus, it spurs local investment, creates tough jobs.
That's a massive saving. What about performance? Does local mean faster?
Generally, yes. You get much lower latency, the delay in data transfer. We're talking potentially under 10 milliseconds within the country. That's crucial for things like financial transactions, making everything feel snappier, more efficient.
Okay. And beyond cost and speed, any other advantages?
I think it really fosters local innovation.
Hmm.
Startups and smaller businesses, SMEs, they can leverage these local clouds without getting locked into complex contracts with the global hyperscalers, the AWS or Azure giants.
Right. More accessible, perhaps.
And it builds market trust. When companies, especially banks or government agencies, use secure, locally governed cloud, it sends a strong message about responsible data handling. It shows they're serious about protecting citizen and customer data.
So it really sounds like Sri Lanka is taking a proactive, quite integrated approach here. They're not just adopting cloud, they're shaping how it's adopted, using regulation to build a specific kind of digital future.
Precisely. It's a deliberate strategy. And it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Wonder what?
Well, could this model, this tight integration of regulation, driving local infrastructure and really prioritizing digital sovereignty, could it be a kind of blueprint for other nations, especially those looking to chart their own course in the digital world, seeking that digital self-determination we talked about earlier?
That's a really interesting thought to end on. Could Sri Lanka's playbook become a model globally, something for us all to watch?